how about if we start with a little activity? So think about yourself and your daily interactions with your kids or one child. And if you can just reflect and try to remember, let's say yesterday, how many times you interacted with your child during the course of the day. So let's say 15 times for the day. Out of that 15 interaction, how many of those interactions were instances where you were telling them to do something, or you were trying to get them to behave themselves, or it was some type of an instructional type of interaction? And think about how many out of the 15 interactions you had were pleasant interactions where you were just enjoying your child, you were just having fun, you were, playing games with them, something of that nature. So if you could just, run that through your mind for a little bit and try to figure out what your interactions with your child on a daily basis tend to look like.
So while you reflect on that, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Alexandra Lilly, and this is Donna Palmer. And in this video, we're going to help you separate your child from their behavior.
That's right.
All right, but before we get started, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and that bell so that you are notified anytime we release a new video on how to handle your child's challenging behavior.
So today in this video, we want to talk to you as parents who have been through all kinds of situations with our children dealing with challenging behaviors. And Alexandra, when I was going through a really, really difficult time with one of my kids, with very, very challenging behaviors, I had to do something.
Right.
I was at a place where all hell was breaking loose in my home. And I had to find help, and I sought help. I looked for the resources, I did courses, I took counseling, and I implemented all the strategies that I got, and I was able to overcome those challenges. So based on that, today we are just, and Alexandra, you yourself can attest to this with your own kids.
Go out and seek something that could help my son and my children with their challenging behaviors and everything that I was struggling with.
Right. So because we have been able to overcome, and have been able to overcome, we're still overcoming every day.
Yes.
Because separating your child from their behavior, for me, it's a daily event. It's not something that you do and you're done and you get over it. It's something that you're working on every single day.
And it doesn't matter what age they are, because you have adults.
Yes, I have adults, and you have teenage, and you have an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Every day, this is something that we are working on. So as we overcome, we would like to help you overcome by sharing our strategies with you. Okay, so let's start with a real life story.
Yes.
With scenario.
Yes.
So let's talk about my kid. At about 16 years old, that's when everything started falling apart. But now that I think back, it's not at 16 everything started falling apart. Things were falling apart
Prior to that, younger.
Yes. It's just that I didn't recognize it, I didn't understand it, I didn't know what was happening, right? So we tend to ask the question, how did we get here? But it's a long journey, okay? Your child might be 2, might be 5, might be 10, might be 16, might be 20. And you might be asking that question, but it started somewhere way down the road.
Right.
So here's a kid that, whenever I would ask him to do something, do your homework. Can you put the garbage out? Can you sweep the floors? Tidy up your room? Whatever the instruction was, or whatever you had to ask of him, we would always end up in this big fight.
Yes.
It would be an all-out argument. Sometimes it will go so far as to the point where he becomes disrespectful, slams the door. There was a time when he even punched a hole in the wall, right? So sometimes it can get really, really difficult to handle.
And not acceptable.
Not acceptable, exactly. And when you have a child like this where you're dealing with these behaviors on a daily basis, you know what? The child get lost. Because all you see is, all I was seeing was the behavior.
Yes.
It was, I couldn't see him anymore. We had gotten to a point where I couldn't see him anymore. I was only seeing the behaviors.
Okay, so Donna, you mentioned about there's a possibility that this didn't just come out of nowhere. Could have happened a long time ago.
Right.
Something was going on. So let's look at this from the perspective of the brain and brain development and the root cause of why we're having some of these behaviors. Now, there's something called our corpus callosum, okay? Big name, big word, brain terminology. And our corpus callosum is a bridge that connects both sides of our hemisphere. So we got the left, we got a right, and then we got that bridge. This corpus callosum has so many important jobs: critical thinking, problem solving, logic, reasoning, memory, understanding concept of time, time management. Now, if that corpus callosum isn't working as efficient as it could be, this is what causes gaps in the brain, which can cause them to struggle with certain things and being frustrated a lot with things that you're asking them to do, but they're unable to problem solve. Maybe they're unable to reason, or their memory's not really good. And this leads to that huge frustration level, which leads to
anger and then
behaviors.
Disrespect.
Yes.
Right.
So we have to kind of look at it. Maybe there's something going on in the brain that is causing these behaviors to come out, but we cannot let those behaviors go.
Right. So acknowledging that something is going on in the brain is one thing, but it's not an excuse. Just so we know, it's not an excuse for the behavior.
Correct.
So the second thing to be mindful of is that we do not take these behaviors personally.
Yes.
You know what, as parents, when we have to deal with the disrespect, and it is every day.
It's hurtful.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah. And we take it personal. So please understand that our children are just using some behaviors that they've learned to use to compensate for the lack of whatever is going on in their brain to get what they want. So it's not about us, really. It's all about them. It's about they getting what they want using the means that they know how. So do not take it personally.
Do you feel like those behaviors are just getting under your skin? Drop us a comment and let us know that we are not alone.
So now that we understand that there's a brain component to this whole equation, and there's some learned behaviors that our kids are using, so it's not personal to us, it's all about them. We have those two pieces of the equation that is going to equal the answer, which is separating your child from the behavior. How do we separate our children from the behavior when every day?
It's exhausting.
Yes, that's all we see. We see the behavior. Okay?
Yeah.
So I want to just use an analogy to help us understand that. Like, I don't know, I know at my house I have my dining room table. As soon as you come in the door, my table is there.
Yeah.
I don't know what you have, Alexander, if it's a table.
My fireplace.
Oh, you have a fireplace.
Everything.
Some people have a drawer, somewhere where everything goes in there. That's the holding place, you know? From Monday to Saturday, everything goes there. Maybe Sunday you clean it up. I don't know. Like me, I clean it once a week. So I know there are times when, you know, an important mail would come in maybe Monday and I put it on the table. Then Friday, my husband is asking me, did you see the Visa bill? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I remembered it came on Monday. But when I go to look on the table, there's a pile of stuff on the table and the bill is way under. Now, in order for me to get that bill, I have to start clearing up the table.
Right.
So I would literally have to remove all the stuff that was on there, maybe sort them out, put them
Organize
away.
it, yeah.
Eventually, I found a bill.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the same thing with our children and their behaviors. They have behaviors that has been piling up, and it's gotten so big. We, on the other hand, on the receiving end of the behaviors, we have emotions
Yes.
that are piling up, that are piling up, that are piling up. We are at a place where we're up here, right? Emotionally, we are at a place where we're like we had it.
We're done.
We're done. And they are at a place where they are continuing to use it more and more and more, intensifying behaviors because they're getting what they want. Now, we need to separate the child from the behavior. We need to recognize that, listen, they are just using some behaviors to get what they want. Just like we cleared up the table to find the meal that we were looking for, we need to find the right strategies to start working on those behaviors. So once we start using some really effective strategies and we start getting those behaviors under control, our child is being transformed, we ourselves will start feeling better.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's so much better. It makes such a big difference.
Right? So if yesterday you were having 15 interactions and it was all negative, and today you had 12, tomorrow you had 10, and you're feeling better, you're feeling less stressed, you're feeling relieved. And guess what? When you're feeling better, when we're feeling better, then we can start seeing them. So now when I am calling my little Johnny, can you come and put out the garbage? Before, all I'm seeing is a whole ball of argument, back talking, coming down the stairs. I can't see Johnny. But now that I've learned the strategies, using them, and it's working, and Johnny's behavior is decreasing, I'm feeling better. We all feeling better. When I call Johnny, guess what? I see a happy kid, or maybe not happy, but a reasonable kid come in to put out the garbage. Right? That is how I can separate the child from the behavior. Finding the right strategies, implementing the strategies, and seeing it work.
And then just enjoying your child again.
Yes, and enjoying yourself.
Yes.
Being a parent.
Yes. Okay, so let's recap it all. Number one, you are going to remember that there's a possible root cause, that something is going on in the brain, but you're not leaving it as an excuse.
That's right.
Number two is you are not going to take it personal. And number three is you're going to find the right strategies to transform that behavior and enjoy your child again.
And enjoy yourself as a parent.
Yes. All right, so you're probably wondering, okay, so where's the strategies? Now we got the strategies
That's
for
right.
you. So connect with us at admin@parentingbeyondbehaviors.com. All right, so be sure to check out our next video where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that brain.
Remember to like and subscribe.
See you next time.